Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on cybersecurity and break down what really happens when a company gets hit by an attack. It's a journey from, well, total chaos to methodical control.
So, picture this. You get to work one morning and the alerts are just screaming. Systems are down, your data is locked up, and literally every second counts. This is the exact scenario that keeps CEOs up at night. That moment a potential crisis becomes a very real one. And the first question on everyone's mind is, now what?
To get a handle on all that chaos, you've got to start by defining the problem. A security incident, really, is any event that breaks one of the 3 golden rules of data security. Confidentiality, which is all about keeping it secret. Integrity, making sure it's accurate. And availability, ensuring the right people can get to it when they need to.
And we're not talking about some abstract theoretical stuff here. These are real-world problems that are happening every single day. Things like malware infections, ransomware, unauthorized users sneaking into sensitive files, massive data breaches that expose customer info, or a DDoS attack that just completely knocks your website offline.
So, how do you even begin to fight back against all of this? Well, you don't just wing it, that's for sure. Organizations use a playbook, a really structured plan designed for these exact moments. It's time to go from chaos to control.
And this is the playbook's formal definition. You can see the key action words right there: detect, contain, eradicate, and recover. And listen, this isn't just a random list. It's a strategic sequence, a very deliberate march from that initial chaotic moment back to order.
And this is the heart of the whole thing. The 6-phase Incident Response Lifecycle. Just think of this as the roadmap. It kicks off with preparation. That's before an attack even happens. Then moves through identification and containment when one hits. Then you've got eradication and recovery to get back to normal. And it all wraps up with maybe the most critical step for the future: lessons learned.
Okay, so let's really dive into this. We're going to walk through each of these 6 steps so you can see exactly how these cyber first responders operate when they're under pressure.
First up is preparation. And honestly, this might be the most important step of them all, because it happens before an attack even occurs. It's kind of like a fire department running drills and constantly checking their equipment. You put in the work now so you're ready to go when the alarm finally rings.
So, what this really boils down to is having your ducks in a row ahead of time. You need to have clear security policies, a dedicated response team full of experts who know exactly what their roles are, and all the right software and procedures ready to deploy at a moment's notice. Okay, so you've done all your prep. But what happens when that alarm actually goes off? Well, that brings us to phase 2, identification. This is that moment the smoke alarm goes off, an alert has popped up somewhere in the network, and the team's first job is to figure out, is this just a false alarm or is this a real fire? And to do that, this is where the analysts really earn their paychecks. They're digging through system logs, checking alerts from intrusion detection systems, or IDS, and sifting through all sorts of other monitoring tools to find that one signal in all the noise and confirm that, yep, a genuine attack is underway. Right, the fire is real. As soon as that's confirmed, the priority completely shifts. It's no longer about detection, it's about stopping the spread. This is the containment phase, and it is all about damage control. So, what does that actually look like? In practical terms, it means yanking infected computers or servers right off the network, immediately. The goal is to isolate the problem and cut off the attacker's access. Basically, building a digital firewall around the incident to keep it from wrecking the rest of the network. So, with the incident contained, it's time for the team to go on the offensive. This is eradication, the phase where you actively go in and put that fire out for good. And this is really a 2-part mission. First, you have to get rid of the threat itself. That means deleting the malware, kicking the intruder out. Second, and this is just as important, you have to find and fix the vulnerability that let them in the first place, patching up that hole so they can't just waltz back in. After the threat is completely 100% gone, the focus shifts again. Now it's all about safely rebuilding and just getting back to business as usual. This is the recovery phase. And you have to be really careful here. Teams will restore systems using clean, trusted backups. They'll cautiously bring services back online, all while watching everything like a hawk to make sure the attacker doesn't try to sneak back in while things are still chaotic. But hang on a second. Before we jump to that final phase, let's just pause and double-click on a concept that makes this whole process even possible. You see, that identification phase we talked about, it relies entirely on constant vigilance. You can't respond to a threat that you can't even see. And this slide just nails the difference.
Without monitoring, an organization is totally flying blind. An intruder could be camped out in your network for weeks, even months, causing unbelievable damage. But with it, you get early detection, you get accurate evidence, and it lets you have a much, much faster response, which is the entire point of this lifecycle.
Okay, so keeping that crucial role of monitoring in mind, let's get back to our 6-phase life cycle and talk about the final, and I would argue the most important step: what happens after the dust settles.
This is the post-incident debrief. The team conducts a really thorough analysis of what went wrong, how the attacker got in, and how the response itself could have been better. And look, the goal here isn't to point fingers or assign blame, it's to improve security controls and update the playbook so the organization is just stronger next time.
You know, this quote just perfectly captures the spirit of that final phase. It is not enough to just clean up the mess and get back to business. True success means using an attack as an opportunity to get stronger, turning a crisis into a catalyst for building a more secure and resilient organization.
So we'll end with a thought that brings this all right back home to you. In today's world, the question isn't if an incident will happen, but when. And as we've seen, preparation isn't just one phase in a list. It is the foundation for everything else. The chaos, that's a given. But having control, that's a choice.